You are welcome to the learndreamskill.com and I am Vikas from learndreamskill.com. And as we have just decided to learn the Python, so I just thought of creating the one Python beginner course for you. So for that we will have to start with the I would say IDE because we will be writing the code in IDE. So I'll be using the Spider, and if you just like you can just write your codes in the Jupyter notebook as well. Let me just show you from where you will just get the Jupyter. So this way you will just get the Jupyter. And if you have not set up your Python environment into your system, then you can just go to our channel and then you will just find the how to you will just find all the I would say videos Python tutorial. So it will just give you the introduction to Python, like what should you learn. Then you can just mainly watch this I would say tutorial because I have just explained everything clearly how to set up Python into your environment, into your system I would say. Then today we are just going to learn the Python for beginners. So like whenever we are working in any programming language, so I'll just say welcome to. So let me zoom in. So you can just mainly hold down control key and use the mouse button to zoom in, mouse middle I would say button or roller. Then I'll just add it to comment. So like whenever we are working in Python, so we need to discuss few points as well about the Python. So let me just tell you those topics or I would say points which you need to remember about Python whenever you will just start coding in the Python. So I would say Python is case sensitive language, and Python is tab oriented language. So I will not tell any, I would say bookish kind of definition. I'll just tell you in the layman language. So, and I will explain each and everything as well. And we can use Python for various, I would say, operations or I would say tasks. So it is the just a introduction, quick introduction about Python. And third point is like Python is dynamically interpreted language. So I just want to tell you only these 3 points. Then I am mainly I am not interested or because I th just think that like what you will just do by learning that definition like Python is object oriented programming language, high level language or low level language. Whatever it is, we need to learn it for our job. So that is what mainly I think. And if you just want to learn any definition, you can just Google that up as well. So just to learn any programming language, what we need to do? We will be just writing the various syntaxes, and those syntaxes are mainly called, I would say, code as well. We can just say those as a code as well, or we can just say as well program. We are writing a Python program. Okay, and like whenever we'll be just writing, I would say code. So we need to follow lots of rules as well. So like we need to create various, I would say variables. In other languages, we just say the variables, and in Python, we just say those as a object because Python is the object-oriented language. Okay, so like smallest unit of any program or code, code or program is the variable. Okay, and all the variables or anything will be called as a object. You will just come to know when I will just explain this you later. Okay, so let me just show you what does variable mean. So variable can just hold the value of numeric as well. So what I'm just assigning here, I'm just assigning the value 10 to age variable. So you just see here it is the numeric value, and like in the I would say in the programming language, numeric values are called as a integer. or I would say whole number numeric. Whole number numeric means we are not having any decimal value this way, dot 6 or dot 5. Okay, so it is the whole number and it is called as a integer in the Python. So I am just running the code. So now let me just go to the variable explorer. So see this object has been created here in the variable explorer, and what it is just showing to you, it is just showing that we are having the name with the so we are having name, type, and size and value. And you just see here it is the, I would say, name is the age, and type is the integer, size is 1 because we are having only one value, and then you just see the value, what value we are having in this name variable. So it is the 10. Okay, so now what I just wrote here, like Python is the dynamically interpreted language. So whatever value you will assign to the object or variable, Python will automatically detect like which value we have assigned to this object. So that is what it is just doing. That is why we just say it is the dynamically value interpreted language. Okay, so let me just assign same value to the age variable. I'm just assigning my name, Vikas. Okay. So you just see here in the age variable, I'm just having the value assigned as a 10. And if I just try to assign the Vikas in the age variable again, so it will just replace the value 10 as a, I would say, Vikas. And you just see here, right now we are having age variable as an integer. Now let me just run this code first. So you can just take your cursor anywhere in the line, and you need to press F9. So it will just run the current line only. Now you just see here we are having the age variable created, and what we are having over here in this variable, we are having the value as a Vikas, and type of this age variable is the str, and the size of this variable is the 1 because we are having only one value. Okay, so that is how we can just create the variables. Now let me just tell you how we can run the code. So we can just run code two ways. Okay, either we would like to run complete code, or run selected code, or selected code, run current line. So whenever we are writing code, we may need to run code three ways. Either we just use this, or use this. So if we just want to run complete code, suppose we have just written 5000 line code, and you just want to run the complete code whatever you have written in your editor. So in that case, you will just mainly you would like to, you will have to click on this button, and this button is mainly, you just see here, you just see the tooltip, it is just saying run file, and we need to press F5. So either you can just click on this button. So run complete. Okay, I'll have to add it to the comment, otherwise code will not run. And I'm just running it. So see, it has just submitted this complete file. Whereas if you just want, you can just press F5 as well, and see it is just running the code same way. And if you just want to run the selected code only, so I just want to run these two lines at once. So I need to press F9. So this way we will be able to run the code based on the selection itself. Okay, and if you just want to run your current line only, suppose this line or this line, so your cursor should be there in line. You want to run this line, so your cursor should be there in this line, either end or starting or anywhere, it can be anywhere, and just press F9. So code will just run this line, and then cursor will just go to the next line. So that is how we just run our code in by three ways in the Python. And let me just show you one more thing. Let's come here and this anaconda prompt, and then what I'm just saving, I'm just writing the Python here. So suppose same codes we can just run here as well. Age equals to 10. So see, it has been created, and if I just try to print the value of age, we are having the 10 here. So you just see here, whenever I'm just working here, so in my age variable I'm having the Vikas here, and as I have just opened this editor, so it is just independent of this, so it is not taking up the value age because I'm just having the value age in the value Vikas in the age variable. but I just created this differently, so it is just having the value whatever I assigned here. So see, I'm just having the 10. So these are independent of each other. Whereas whenever you will just install the base Python, so you will be using this kind of editor itself. So that is why I just requested you to install this Anaconda package, because we are having the powerful editor as well, which is the Spider and the Jupyter Notebook. So there are lots of other I would say editors as well, which you can just use to learn the Python. But these are the standard editors which I would say lots of guys use. So, and that is how we can just create our object as well. So suppose I'm just assigning some value to this, I would say object 10.5. I'm just going to assign. So now you just notice what I was just having. I'm just running this code. It is having str. If I will just run the code here, so see here what it is just showing. It is just showing the float this time, because we are having the decimal value. So decimal values are called as a float in the Python. Okay, so these are the, I would say, three kind of simple or smallest code we can write in the programming language. After that, we'll start mainly learning the more. So let me just start jumping, or let me just uh, go to explain next thing. So now we are just going to learn multi-value object. So if you have just worked in other programming languages like Java or C++, or VBA, Visual Basic application, which is used to automate the Excel, or I would say Outlook or MS Access. So over there we are having the array. So array can hold the multiple types of values, multiple values I would say, not multiple type. Multiple value means, so suppose if I just want to create a object, so here I was just creating this age object with the value 10 only, and if I am just having the requirement of creating a object which can hold 10 values, suppose 10 and 11, 12 and 15. So what we are having the sixth value this time, and I just want to create a object which can hold these values. So in that case we are having the list and tuple in Python, and these are equivalent to the array of other programming language. Okay, whereas we are having one benefit as well in the list and tuple. So let me just try to write those definitions about the list and tuple. So list and tuple are mainly, there is one, both are same. Okay, there is only one difference, and that difference is list is mutable and tuple is immutable. And what does this mean? Can't, can't, or I would say we cannot change tuple once it has been created. Okay, and we we can change list any time as per our requirement. Okay, so that is the difference between these list and tuple. And now let me just tell you what is common in these both. So list can, list or tuple, list or tuple can hold multiple values. These can hold nested values as well. These can hold any type of values as well. And now I will explain these things to you. Okay, all these points. so that whenever you will just go to interview, you will be able to answer interviewer. So like how we can assign these values to the list and tuple. So what I will just create, I will just create the my underscore list. And just to create list, so mainly we can just create list by square bracket, and we can create tuple by this parenthesis. Okay, and let me just show you how we can create. So if we just want to create list, so we can just mainly enclose all the elements within the square bracket. So this way it will just create the list type of object, and all these values will be assigned to this my underscore list object. You can just give the name, any name here, like my Vikas or testing list, any name. And same way, if you just change the bracket, this bracket, this way, then it will just create the tuple. So that is the difference between both. And now let me just make it as a tuple. So I'm just running this code first. I'm pressing F9. So see here, it has just created the list, and it is just showing we are having the 6 elements. And whenever I'm just creating the tuple, it is also created, and it is just also showing like we are having the 6 element, whereas it is just showing we are having the value, we are having the data type as a tuple, and name of this tuple object is the my underscore tuple. So if we just want to get, like here we can just see like we are having the 6 elements. So if we want to see like how many elements we are having either in list or tuple, so we can just use the length function. So you just keep remembering these functions as well, because this will just help you a lot whenever you will just work in the real scenario. So I'm just running this. So see, by code we can just check like how many values are there in any object. Same way we can just use this length object on the my underscore tuple as well. Okay, so see here we are having the 6 values. Now let me just tell you how list and tuple save the value. So list and tuple save value, so like first value, list and tuple, list and tuple save values based on index which starts from 0. Okay, so it is the definition. And how it is working, so like first value, will be saved, will be saved at 0 index number, which means, like this 10 and this 10 will be saved in the 0 index in the list, and same way this 10 will be saved at the 0 index in the this tuple. Same way it will be saved at the 1, it will be saved at the second index, it will be saved at the third index, it will be saved at the fourth index, and it will be saved at the fifth index. So any list can have, like if we just talk about the what I would say maximum index any list can have. So those lists can have the n minus 1 index. And what does n means? N means element. So if a list is just having 6 element, so we will be having the 5 index max, because index are starting from the 0 position. Okay, and now you need to remember this always, because it will just help you a lot whenever you will be working in the project, and if you will just forget it, so you may write the wrong code. Okay, so that is how list save value. Now let's start discussing how we can mainly extract the elements from these lists. Okay, so I will just write the comment here, extract element from list or tuple. Okay, so I will just explain you to extract element from the list. Same way you can just use for the tuple. So if we just want to extract element from the list, so either we need to extract single element or we need to extract multiple element. These are the two scenarios to extract the element. And now I will tell you the both the scenarios how you can extract elements from the list. Okay, so whenever we just want to extract element from list or tuple, so we will have to use the square bracket only. whether it is tuple or list. Don't be confused, like whenever we are creating, we will use the square bracket to create the list and we will use the parenthesis to create the tuple. Whereas whenever we are extracting the element, so we will use this bracket only, whether it is tuple or list. So either we can extract the element based on the index. Okay. So we will extract element based on the index. So we will just use the square bracket. Then we need to pass the index here. Okay. So how we can just extract that? So let me just come here to my list, and then suppose we just want to extract this 10. So 10 is there at the 0 index, so we will have to give the 0 this way. We cannot give the 10 because if we already aware about, like we need to extract the 10, so we are aware about the value, then why we need to extract the 10? So like this list will be holding various values, and based on the index we will just fetch these values. And now if you are thinking like why we will just give the 0 and 1, and how we will come to know that what value is saved in the, suppose now you just tell me what value is saved at the third index, because we are not able to see that list. It is just scrolled up, you just don't see this section as well, so we will not be able to tell that as well. But whenever we will be working in the project, so we will be writing the dynamic code. So here I am just telling you to extract this in the basic scenarios. Once you are aware about the basic scenario, then we will be writing the dynamic code, and those dynamic code will just help you to crack out your project. Okay. So suppose I am just writing the Python code, and this code is just saying that, hey Python, please give me whatever value is there at the 0 index in the my underscore list. So if I just run this code, so you just see that it is just giving me the value 10. Same way, if I just, now I just don't know mainly what value is there at the third index. So I need to give the third index here, and what value it will just give? It will just give the fourth element, because element is the n minus 1. Sorry, index is the n minus 1. So if I just run this, so it will just give me the fourth index, which is the 13. And now let's come here. So it is the first index, sorry, first element, it is the second element, it is the third element, and it is the fourth element. So that is how Python is just giving me the value. Okay. And if I will just give this value here, and I just try to give the, suppose 8. So we are not having 8 index 8 in our list. So let me just show you what error we will get. So see here, we will just get the error list index out of range. So whenever you will be just writing your code in your project, and if you just get this kind of error, so what you need to do? You need to check your list, because you are just referring the wrong index, but your list not having those much of element. So in that case, you need to debug your code that way. So you just remember or fix this, I would say, error into your mind, so that whenever you just see this error, so you should be automatically detect, or you should be mainly you should automatically understand that my list is not having those much of element which I have just passed here in my list. Okay, so this way we can just extract the single element. Now let me just show you how we can extract element from the tuple as well. So I can just copy the same, because I'll be just changing the tuple itself. So see, I'll just get, I run this code. See, it is just giving me error tuple index out of range. And if I just give 3 here, so it will just give me the value. See, if I just give, I would say 0 here, then it will give me the value. So same way, we can just perform all the operations, whatever operation we can just perform on the list, we can perform on the tuple as well, except changing or deleting the value in tuple. Okay, we can use all the operations to extract the value in tuple and list. That is the right definition. Okay, so now let me just tell you how we can extract multiple values from the list or tuple. So for that, we will have to use the colon operator or colon symbol. Okay, and what is the syntax to write that? We will be giving the square bracket this way, and in the square bracket we will just give the starting, I would say, start index, and then colon, and then we need to give the end index here. And then we are having one, I would say, logic or rule as well. Start index is inclusive, and end index is exclusive. Okay, now let me just tell you what does this mean. So copy these and come here, and then let me just write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me just copy this so that we are able to check and compare this one by one. See here. Okay, so don't think like I am just creating the list. I am just trying to make this equal. So see, so this 10 is just saved at the 0 index, this 11 is just saved at the 1 index, this 12 is saved at the 2 index, and so on. So if we just want to extract elements from 0 to second index, which is 10 to 11, then how we will have to give? We will have to give mainly this list, and then this 0, and then if we just want to extract element from up to, I would say, 2, then we will have to give the 3, because it is the exclusive. Python will not give the value of this index. Python will just give the value of excluding this index. Okay, let me just try to show you this first. If I just want to extract the value from 0 to second index, so it is the exclusive and it is the inclusive. So you will just see the value 10 and 11 only, because 2 is exclusive. Let me just run the code. See here, it is just giving us the 10 and 11. Okay, so same way, what we will have to do, we will have to give plus 1 index. That way we will be able to extract the value in appropriate manner. And now if you are just thinking like who will just calculate these values this step by step, and you will just get frustrated and there is no requirement of getting this value. So mainly we just do these things dynamically. We are just learning the basic this time, and once we just we are having knowledge about this, then we will just write our dynamic code as well. Okay, so now if you just want to get value from 2 to 4, so simply you can just give the value like 2 to 5. Okay, so it will be excluded, so we can just run this code. So this way you can just extract the values from the list. Now let's start discussing more about the list. So now if you just want to extract values from the list starting from 0 to third element, so in that case you can just ignore to give the starting element. You just give the element which is the max. So this way your code will also run, because what you are doing, you are not mentioning the starting index, so Python will automatically come to know that it needs to extract the value from the starting. And same way, if you just want to extract value from 2 to 5, 2 to 2, I would say 2 index onwards and all the values. So you can just give this way as well. See here. So this way you can just extract the values, and same things you can just do on the tuple as well. You just try those things at your own. Then suppose right now we have just learned the we have learned how we can extract the values. And suppose if you just want to see like what at what index 12 value is saved. Okay, so for that what you can do, so like what is the index of 12? We are having the 2. But by coding you just want to check. So for that we are having one function which is the list dot index, and you can just pass the 12 here and it will just give you the index. Okay, so this way you can just extract the index as well, and that is how we just write the dynamic codes as well. Okay, so now extract element of a list. Sorry, extract index of a list element. Then we are having two operations. We just to delete the values. So we are having the remove function and we are having the pop function. So if we just want to remove value based on the remove the list element based on the value, we just use the remove. And if we just want to remove the value from the list based on the index, so we use the pop function. Let me just show you both. So suppose I just want to remove 12 from my list. So if I am just running this code, you will just see we are having the 12 value here. So what we can do, we can just say remove list dot remove, and then we can simply say 12, and I just run my code. S- And now if I just try to print the value of this list only, I'm just selecting this only list and running the code. You just see here we are not having 12 in our list. It has been kicked out. So remove function is used to remove the values from the list based on the value itself. Whereas if you just want to remove value from the list, then what you need to do, you need to use the pop function. So suppose I just want to remove the value at the uh, second index and what value I am having at the second index, it is the 0, 1 and 2. Let me just copy it so that you can just verify it. So it is the 0, 2, sorry, 0, 1 and 2. So 13 should be removed. I'm just running this code. See, it is just saying 13. And if I just try to print the values, see here, we are not having 13, and whatever value has been removed, it is just showing that as well. Okay, so that is how we can just use the pop and remove. Now what I just explained you here, like tuple can't be changed once it has been created, and list can be changed once it has been created. So let me just show you that. So you just see here, I just created the list and we are able to remove the values from the list. Whereas, let me just take the tuple from here and come to bottom, and let me just run the code, and let me just try to remove the value from the tuple and remove. I want to remove the value 12. Run, see what error it is just giving us. So it is just giving us tuple object has no attribute remove, because Python has not given any functionality to remove the values from the tuple, because tuple can't be changed. Okay, so same way we just try to remove the value based on the index as well from the tuple. So I'll just give the index 1 and I just run this code. Again we will get the same error. So it is just saying tuple object has no attribute pop. So this way we have just verified as well, like tuple is not, I would say tuple can't be changed and list can be changed. And now you may be thinking that like why we need to use the tuple and why we need to use the list. So like mainly whenever you are just creating your result object, so in that case you should create the tuple, because nobody can just change, even you can't change those by any error. Definitely you can just remove those objects. You can remove tuple once you have just created, but you cannot change the values of the tuple. Okay, so if you are having requirement where you want, I would say, data security, so in that case you can just use the tuple, because nobody can just change the value of the tuple. Whereas whenever you are just working in the data, I would say, analysis, so you will be creating the list always. So mainly I am just telling as per my experience. So that is what we just do. Then let's start discussing how we can add element to the list. So then suppose what we are having, let me just copy it and run this code. So what do you see now? If we just try to run this code length and we just say my underscore list. So you just see here we are getting the sixth element. So if we just want, we can append the element to the list as well. And append means mainly that code will start adding the element here after this. So if we just want to add this way by the code, so how we can do so? So in that case we will have to say list dot append function, and in the append we will just pass the element. So suppose I'm just heading 121 and run this code, and if I just try to check the length, you will just see the 7 this time. And if I just select this only and run the code, you just see we are having the 121 this way. Then again I am just adding 123 and run the code and just see the value of this. See 123. So this way we can append the values. See, we are having the 8, but we cannot do that on the tuple. Let me just try to show you here itself. Tuple dot append and 121. So see, it is just giving error because we cannot change the values of the tuple, or we cannot add or delete any, we can do nothing actually. So that is how we can just work with the list and tuple. Now what I just explained you, I just about the list and tuple can hold multiple values. I have explained you. You can hold nested values and any type of value. So let me just explain these two scenarios as well quickly. So right now what we were doing, we were just assigning the same numeric values. Now let me just create multi value list equals to, and then I will just create new list. So I'll just say because I spent this much amount, and this is something, suppose I'm just adding the height 1.61 meter, it will be huge. This way we can just add. So see here, we are I'm just trying to assign the multiple types of value to this list. So in other programming language, we can either assign the character values or the numeric values to a multi-value object, which is the array, whereas list can hold the multiple types of values as well. So see, our object has been created. Okay, and so it is just showing the list, and if you just click on this, so you will just see here it is the str, it is the integer, and it is the float. So that is how list can hold the multiple types of values as well. And if you just want to extract the values, so you can just follow the same rule. You just say 0, it will just give you the name. You just say 1, it will just give you the expenditure. If you just give the 2 here, it will just give you the 1.2. So this way it will just give you the values. Same way you can just create the tuple as well with the multiple values. So multi values, I will just say tuple, and I will just delete this and delete this as well and run the code. So see, tuple also has been created, and same way you will just see the str, because is the character value, and integer is the numerical value, and float because we are having the decimal value. Then let me just show you. So you just see here, if we are having this, I would say list. So we are having single values, and if we want a single element of a list can have the nested list as well. So suppose I just want this list to have this list, and here I just want to get the list of multiple values. I would say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this way what I'm just creating, I'm just creating the nested list. Okay, and it is just having the numeric, character, all the combinations, and I just say D, it is the dynamic list. So see, our list has been created, and what you will just see, so it is the list, and if I just open it in the 0 index, you can just verify the index from here as well. In the 0 index we are having the value 10 as a first value. In the first index we are having the list as a second value, and so on. Okay, and now if we just want to extract, suppose in the first element 0 index we are having the first element, so we can just simply say this 0. So we are getting this value, and if I just say this 10, this second element, which is the 1. So you just see we are getting the list. So it will just return the object as list now. And if I just want to get from the first element, I want to get the second element. So simply I will have to use another one more bracket. So it will just again nest this list, because let me just show you. Let me just first tell you one thing. Class type. So if I'm just creating the age equals to 10, and we want to check like what kind of object it is, so we are just having the type function, and we can just pass it here in the list, so in the type function. So see, it is just giving me the int. Same way if we just say 10.2 and run, and then run this, so it is just giving me the float. So now what I'm just trying to tell you, so suppose if I will extract 0, okay, 0 here, so it is just returning me this value. And if you just want to check like what kind of value it is just returning, you will just see it is as a integer. Okay, whereas if I am just trying to extract value, this value which is the first element of the my underscore list underscore d, so I'm just saying one here, so it will just return me the list only. So that is why I was just saying, then we can use the one more square bracket here, and we can just try to extract this and this and this. So you can just say 0. So from the first element, it will just give you the 0 index of this. So this way you will be able to extract the Vikas. And same way you just give the 1, you will just get this value. See this way. And you can just say 2 as well. So this way you can just mainly create the nested list, and you can extract the nested elements as well. And let me just tell you one last scenario. Suppose here as well, you can just assign one more list, third time nested list. Okay. And now if I will just say my D and 1. So see what we are getting. I need to run this once. So see what we are getting. We are getting this. Then I just want to extract the from this. It is the first element, and I want to extract the second element of this. So I'll just say here, and I'll just say 1 and run the code. So see what we are getting. Then we can just use another more bracket just to say 0 or whatever it is, 1 or 2. So this way you can just create your multi-index list as well. And same way you need to start adding these, I would say, square brackets to nestedly extract the values from the nested list. So that is how we can just work on the list elements. We are done with learning the list and the tuples, and we have just discussed how we can create the single value object as well. And we have learned various functions. We have just learned the type function, and we have just learned the length function. Okay, now let's try to learn the conditional statements. So like whenever we are just working in the project, we will have to write the some conditions as well. Let me just tell you one example. So suppose you just want to go to the movie, and then you are asking your friend because you just want to go with your friend, and if you are just saying if you will just go, then I will go, otherwise I will not go. So here it is the condition. So same way, if you just want to run codes as well based on the condition, then we are having the if and else condition. So now let me just tell you how we can just write the if and else condition in the Python. So once we so for that we will have to say mainly we will have to create one object here. We will just say the value as 23. Then we want to print value. Suppose if age is less than 10, we are having one condition. If print value age is less, age is low. If age is 23, okay, print age is equal if age is 23, age is less than 23, okay, and print age is greater if age is more than 23. So these are the three conditions. So how we can just write the if and else condition for this? So for that, first we will have to create the variable. It is having the value 23. Then what we will just try to write? We will just try to write if age is less than 23, then what we need to do, we need to write the then condition. So in Python we are not having any then, I would say uh, any word, we are having the colon for that. And as we will just type the enter, so what I just wrote earlier, I just wrote Python is the tab oriented language. So it means that Like whenever we will be just writing the nested condition, so what we just want, we are just writing the else part for this. So we cannot write that here. Say this way, print, and what we want to print? We want to print age is low. Age is low. And if I just run this, we will just get the error. Okay, so it should be tab oriented. So see here what it is just saying, expected an indented block. So just notice this as well. So as we will just type the semicolon here and sorry colon here, and we just press enter, it will automatically add the tab. So that is what Python is just asking for you to add the tab as well. Then this condition is just written, then we are having another condition. So for that we are not having the else if in the Python, we are having the else if. Okay, then we will just check if age is equals to. Now you just notice one thing, whenever we are assigning value to any object, we need to use the single equals to sign. Whereas whenever we just want to check the equality of a object to a value, we will have to use the double equals to sign. If we will just write the equals to here, it will just assign the value to the age. It will not check the equality. So you need to say this way. If it is just having the 23, then colon and enter, you just see again it has just added the tab automatically. Then we will just say print and age age is equal. Then we are not having any other condition. So if this condition will be satisfied, so it will be printed. If this condition will be satisfied, this will be printed. Otherwise, if we are having more condition, we can just write the one more elif. Whereas we are not having any other condition, so we will just say else part only, and then colon, and after else, if we are having only single line to run, so we can just write that line in the same line. Otherwise we will have to add the tab, and then we can just write multiple lines to this way. Then age is greater, and this way our else if an else part is done. So see what it is just giving us, age is equal, because it is just having the 23. And if I am just assigning age as a 20 and running this complete code, see age is low because this condition is getting satisfied, and I am just assigning 25 and running the code, so age is greater. So you can just see here, we are just running these codes based on the condition. So this way whenever we are working in the project, we will be writing the we will be just, we would like to run the codes based on some conditions. So in those cases we will be using the if and else statement. So now what do you see here, we have just written the single if and else statement. So sometimes we will have to write the multi, or I would say nested if and else. So in that case, how I will have to write? We will have to mainly copy this way. Then we can just write if and else here this way, and we will just indent this way. So in this if it is 23, then it will just run this complete if, and if it is equals to 23, it will just run this statement only. And if it is I would say not this and not this, then again we can just write one if and else in the else part of the outer if. So this way we can just write the nested if and else conditions as well based on our project requirement. Okay, so it is the simple way of writing the if and else, and it is the, I would say, nested way of writing the if and else statement. And that is how we just write the if and else statement, and these are used to run the codes based on some criteria. Okay, now we are done with learning the if and else statements as well. Let me just try to give you one exercise. So 23, if age is less than less than 23 and salary is ends with age. Now I will write here salary less than 1000, Then print this way. Salary is less than 1000. If salary is less than 2000, then print here salary is less than 2000. So this way you just try to simulate your if and else. Else if salary is more than this, then print mainly print salary salary is more than 2000 this way. Okay. And if your age age is equals to 23, then just print he is not earning money. Okay. Then you need to create else part, which is this. Then here you will just run like you just write this code itself. If salary is less than 2000 and 3000, it is 2000 and 3000, and it will become 4000. So you just try to write if and else condition for this, I would say, exercise. Okay. And for this you will have to create two variables. Age equals to some value and salary equals to 1500 or whatever it is. Okay. And then just try to simulate that in the Python. Now we will just learn the loop. And like why loops are used. So whenever you just want to run I would say whenever you just want to perform same kind of operation on the multiple objects, okay, or multiple kind of operation on the same object. So in that case you will have to use the loop. And mainly in Python we are having various kinds of loop, but I would say usually 97% times two loops will just fulfill your requirement, especially if you are working as a data scientist or data analyst. So in that case your I would say 99% times these two loops will just fulfill your requirement, and those two loops are one liner loop and the multi-liner loop. So one liner, this loop is used when we want to create create output as list. We can just say that in the layman language. And this loop is used when we want to run multiple statements or code. Okay. Now let me explain that. So suppose what we are having. We are having a list, and what I will just write like John White. I will just create few names like Vikas Singh, and then we will just create Sandy Adam. Okay, we are having three list. Okay, and we will just create the names this way. So see, we have got the three elements, and if we just want to extract, we can extract the values as well. Now, what is the requirement? We are having a requirement like to replace this space in each and every element of this list by the underscore. So for that, what is our requirement? We want to replace, and then again we want to create the list itself, because we will have to use that in code further. So for that you will have to use the one liner loop. You can just do that with the multi-liner loop as well. I will explain that as well. But using one-liner loop will resolve your problem in a proper way. So for that, what you will have to write, mainly you will have to say this square bracket, and then you need to say for w in names. So this way, what it will just do, so it will, this loop will just run on the names. So like if you are working in other programming language, so whenever we just want to run the loop on any object, we just get the u bound and the L bound, which is the lower bound and the upper bound, or I would say maximum index and the lower index of a array. Whereas in the Python, you don't need to do that. You just simply say for w in names, and now this for loop will just run on each and element one by one. So like first time whenever loop will just run, it will just give you the John White in the W. And second time it will just give you the Vikas Singh in the W. And third time it will just give you the Sandy Adam in the W. So this way you will be getting each and every element in the W again and again. And now you can just process this W, or I would say I. So these are the just iterator. You can just say this as a value as well. Okay. And then we just want to process this value here. So we will have to mainly write processing for this loop value here before this loop. And then we will just say the replace here, replace. And then in the replace, we want to replace underscore with the, sorry, we want to replace space with the underscore. So this way we can just write it. And if we just run our code, you will just see that it has just created the mainly, it is just creating the list, because you just see here we are having the square bracket and our name has been cleaned, and we can just assign it back to the names itself. So this way one liner loop is used. Now let me just tell you how we can write the, I would say, multi-liner loop. So for that we will have to say for, suppose if we just want to print, we don't want to create the list, so in that case we will just use the for loop, which is the multi-liner loop, and we will just say names here, and then I'll have to apply the sorry, colon, and then this way I will just say that print, and I will just print the value whatever is coming there in the W. So this way you will just see we are getting these values printed. So now you just see that we are getting values as a single object itself. You can just try to check the type of this. Let me just tell you, and run the code. See here, it is just getting the values as a str, because each and every value in each element of this names list is saved as a str. So that is what it is just giving us. Whereas if we just want to create the list itself after processing the list, so we just use the single liner loop. Okay. So that is what I just wanted to explain about this. Now what you, suppose we are having one requirement. We are having a requirement of writing the, let me just first tell you how we can create the list from this multi-liner loop. So if you just want to perform same operation with the multi-liner loop, then you will have to create blank list here. So you are processing the names, then you will have to create it with different name actually first. You cannot create blank list with the same name. You will just say one equals to. So here what do you see? We are just creating the one blank list before running the loop. So see, it has been created. And if I just try to show you the length of this list, so see, it is just giving me 0 because we are not having any value. Now what we need to do, I just, what I explained you earlier, I explained you a append function. Where is that? See here. So that function is the function which we are going to here to simulate the same multi-liner loop into the single liner loop into the multi-liner loop. So we will just say the names one dot append and then W. So how this loop will just perform the task? So here it will just create the blank list. Then in the W, first time we will get the John White, and that will be assigned to the this W, and then what it will do, names one dot append. So this W will be appended to the names list, and we will have our one element created at the 0 index. Okay. And same way it will just start creating the elements until it just finds the last value. So now let me just run this code. So see, it has just created the list this way. So that is how we can just process this as well. But using this is quite good. Mainly we use multi-liner loop whenever we just want to process the values. Sorry, we want to run the code based on the multiple times. I would say that. So if you are having a requirement to write the if and else condition as well here, so you can just say, suppose you don't want to append the if value is Sandy Adam, we don't want to get that. So we can just say, I will write code here and I will just say if W is equals to Sandy underscore Adam, then I don't want to append this. So this way we can just write the if condition here. Now if I just run this, so you will just see that we are not having names to, okay, we need to check underscore. Okay, condition, I have just written the wrong condition. So if mainly we want to take it out, so we will just say it is not equals to. So because I was just checking the equality, so we will have to say not equals to and run the code. So this way you can just see Sandy Adam has been kicked out. And if you just want to take Sandy Adam only, we can just check equality. So this way it will just take the only Sandy Adam in the list. Okay, so that is how we can just write the if condition here in the multi-liner loop. So same way we can just write the if condition here as well. Let me just show you that. If W equals to Sandy underscore Adam. Okay, and now let me just first run this because we were just we just want to replace the values as well. And let me just run this code. This. Okay, we are not having actually W, we are having the values here. So I'll just run this code and this code. See here. Sandy Adam has been kicked out from the names list as well. So this way we can just write the if condition in the single liner loop as well. Okay, so that is how we can just use the single liner loop and the multi-liner loop. Now we are having the definitions as well. So now if you have noticed, suppose I am just writing Vikas Singh here. Okay, and what I'm just saying dot replace here, and I'm just replacing the space with the underscore. So it is just performing this operation. So if you just notice this, it is the function. Okay, and same way you can just see this length function as well. You can just see this append function as well. So we are having various functions. So in all the programming languages we are having lots of functions which are mainly created for a which are created to perform a specific task. So same way in Python as well we are having those functions. Whereas if we don't find any function as per our requirement, so in that case we can just create our own definitions or the functions. Okay, and now I'm just going to tell you how we can create our definitions. So I will just show you different, I would say simple definition. So just to create your own function and definition, you need to say def. Then you need to give the name of the function which you just want to create. Like we are having the replace, we are having the, I would say, this append. So we will just give the our own name. Kindly do not give the name which already exists in the Python. So suppose don't try to create the function with the replace. Okay, let me just try to show you what it will just give us. See, we need to pass argument as well, a, and then just try to run this. So see, it has mainly created this function, and now if I just try to run this, so you just see what we are getting. So mainly it is not, I would say, getting run, because what you just see here, it is just showing you like it already exists. So we will just try to create this function, I would say my function. So you can just create that way. Mainly whenever you will just create function with the same name, so you will not get result as you are looking for. So if I am just creating my function, so it will just run as we are looking for. And what we want to do, suppose let's try to create our own function to some two values. So I'll just say val 1 and I'll just say val 2 here. And then what I need to do, I need to say val 1 plus val 2 here in the Python. Then once it has been created, then we want to return it as well. So we will have to write the return, RET, return this way. Okay. So now what this function will do, it will just create this function and it will then just sum up those values and return back to this function, because all the functions return some value. So same way we just run this. So it ran successfully. Now we can just copy this and we just try to give 12 and 13 and run the code. So see, it is just giving us 15. So this way we can just create our own function. Okay, whatever function we just want to get. Or suppose, let me just try to show you one dynamic function. So we will just pass one list here, list object. We need to pass list object here. Then what we want to say, we want to say for w in list underscore object. Okay, then and I'll just pass this list. Let me just tell you the requirement as well. List val equals to and 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and then what we want to print, we want to create a list which should create list this way. New, this is element 1, then this is element 2. We want to create list this way. Okay, so how we can create that? So for that we will just process list here, and then we will just say this is element and enclose this plus and in the str, because we will be getting the numeric value in the w. So we need to convert that to the list, and then simply we can return that, return, and we can just say my new list. So this is the function which I have just created. Okay, I'll just run this and I will just run this code as well. So okay, I need to take it out and run the code. So it ran successfully. Now we can run this code and we can pass this list in this function F9. So see, we have got new list created. This is the list, and we can then assign it to the new list equals to and run the code with the F9, and you just see here we have got our new list created. So that is how we just use the functions. Okay, and mainly that is what I just wanted to tell you about the Python basics. So mainly these codes will just help you to write the dynamic codes. And if you are interested, we are having the Python data science course as well. And I would request you to kindly subscribe and like our video and share it. So that is what I just wanted to tell you, and I'll just attach this code as well in the description. You can just download it from there, and that is what I just wanted to tell you. Keep learning, happy learning, and goodbye, guys.